I'm Dr. Louis Machogu, the President of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya. The society exists for the purposes of ensuring that pharmacists in this country practice according to the best practices globally. They uphold ethics and they put front and center public interests as far as matters of medication use, quality of those medications, and most importantly, the outcome. Yeah? It's important to know that even if you have quality medicines available, it's another thing to ensure that this patient, when they came and took the medicine, what was the quality of life after they take the medicine? And that's really why PSK exists. So we've had the privilege of hosting over almost 600 pharmacists, yeah, in the town of Diani. First, we've helped contribute to the economy of Diani. Number two, and most importantly, we've come together to discuss matters that are pertinent towards national development, especially in the area of pharmaceutical security. We know in this era of COVID, we were taught something about national security of healthcare, medicines, healthcare products, and technologies. We've been asking ourselves questions as pharmacists. Why is in Kenya medicine secure? Today we import over 70% of medicines used in this country. That's something that must change in our lifestyle. Over the next 30 years, we've been discussing on policy matters that we can be able to present to the Ministry of Health and ourselves implement from our practice areas to ensure that this country is a net exporter of medicines to the region. In pharmacy, we say that a pharmacist is a pluripotent person. What does that mean? A pharmacist is able to, from their core curricula, the pharmacist is able to respond to different needs in the healthcare sector. To start with, the health sector has different pillars: IT and systems, governance and leadership, service delivery, that's the most traditionally known, financing, that's healthcare financing. How does the patient pay for the healthcare? Cash or insurance. We also have funds for setting up these pharmaceutical entities and hospitals as well. Yeah. So we need to look at healthcare from a system-wide approach. It's not just when you're trained in school and you're looking at the health product. So some of the things we've been discussing here around even curricular review. How do we have the curricula respond to the market needs? How is it fit for purpose? Today, when I graduated in 2005, there were only 1 universities in this country training pharmacists. Today, we have over 8 universities training pharmacists in this country. We used to graduate almost 30 pharmacists in my time per year. Today, almost 200 pharmacists are coming into the market every year. Yeah? So that means that we are actually at the point now, we're at an inflection point. How do we, those who are in practice, those who are seeing the things in real life happening, how do we merge with what is happening in the training universities to do perception and mentorship? And that's really the core of one of the core pillars of PSK. Mentorship and networking within the professional so that we can have best practice, shared and interchanged. So Kenya, that's a good question. Kenya is actually a net exporter of knowledge. We have a lot of expertise. That's why you see a lot of our health workers move out of the country. You'll go and find pharmacists in Nigeria, Uganda, setting up pharmaceutical manufacturing protocols and standards. Yeah? So what I see, especially with the new law being reviewed, so we support the establishment of a new law that takes us for the next 5 years, 50 years, yeah? But this new law needs to marry both professions and the product, yeah? So that, like Nigeria, where we are exporting pharmacies to go and help set up pharmaceutical manufacturing plants, we can be able to attract investments, foreign direct investment into this country to set up pharmaceutical manufacturing plants, so that over the 4,000 healthcare, so doctors, pharmacists and dentists, and I think we have 1,000 pharmacists who are unemployed. These people can be purpose sort of built to be able to respond to some of the needs that the local manufacturing will be able to meet. For example, we need to manufacture biologicals, we need to manufacture vaccines, yeah? And I see this place being ripe for that. As the new government works on ease of doing business in the country, we need to be able to be ready as the profession of pharmacy from a legal perspective and also training perspective to be able to take advantage. And in the region, I see ourselves as a big net exporter of biologicals and vaccines for the region, even up to sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah. I like the conversation of unicorns. We hear a lot of that in America. And because America has 300 to 400 million people, yeah? Now, the Kenya pharmaceutical industry is well poised to deliver several unicorns, yeah, in the sector. Why I say this? Because you have to look at the new country that's being formed in East Africa. The East Africa Federation has close to 500 million citizens. That's way above what US had, yeah? And when you look back, Kenya and the East Africa Federation is exactly where I would say the US was, or China was 30 years ago. So this is our time to be able to have leadership. So I'm looking at the national leadership from the presidency to health sectors, you know, are we able to work together without devoid of selfish interest? Some of these things will happen after we are long gone. Is our leadership comfortable with that? Or is our leadership hell-bent to ensure that they make the dollars today in their lifetime? And unfortunately, some of the things will actually be a situation of we are building or planting trees under whose shade we might never sit under. That's a question I'd like to leave with our leaders. And if indeed they reflect on that question, then Kenya indeed will see a unicorn, not even one, not even 10. I think in the tens of unicorns in the next 30 years in this particular sector. Yeah, my parting shot is to generally Kenyans and our national leadership. Really, we have a gold mine in this pharmaceutical sector, and part of that is the pharmaceutical professional expertise that we have in the country. Yeah. So how are we able to leverage that? Yeah. So I'll just challenge all of us as Kenyans to jipende. Let's look at long-term view. Let's look at long-term investments. Let's look at laws that help us to have a profession that is able to respond to, 50 years from now. Yeah, not just today. So I will just encourage from the President, His Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, to the Ministry of Health, how are we putting structures to be able to take this country over the next 50 years? Yeah.